Lucas, and I'm your house manager. I want to welcome you all to the nationally recognized Coterie Theater. It's great to have you here. In the event you need to leave the theater, please use the nearest exit to your left or to your right. Now is the time to turn off any cell phones or put them on silent and keep them put away. There's no picture taking due to copyright law, and note there's no food, drink, or candy. Here at the Coterie, we like to say there are no small characters, only massive talent. So in just a few moments, we'll be bringing you Dracula, the Journal of Jonathan Harker. Enjoy.
I do not know how you have heard of my name, or indeed even of my story. But I received your invitation, and at your request, I have retrieved my papers and journal I stored away 7 years ago. As I present them to you now, it is difficult to believe that all of this truly happened, even for me. To Wilhelmina Harker, Exeter, from Jonathan Harker, Bistritz, Carpathia, 3 May, 1889. My dearest Mina, please forgive my delay, but I have found it difficult to write while jostling about on these European trains. In any event, I shall attempt to bring you up to date with my travels so far. I left Munich 8:35 p.m. 1st May, arriving at Budapest next morning. We left in good time and came after nightfall to Bistritz, the post town named by my client. He had directed me to go to the Golden Crown Hotel, and I was evidently expected, for I was met by an elderly woman who gave me a letter which read, "My friend, welcome to the Carpathian Mountains. Sleep well tonight. At 3 tomorrow, the coach will start for Bukovina. At the Borgo Pass, my coachman will await you and bring you to me, your friend, Dracula." I have had a pleasant supper, roasted chicken, prepared with a copious amount of paprika, and I'm writing you these lines as I prepare for bed. Your loving husband, Jonathan. Oh, postscript. Please send a note of congratulations to Lucy and to new fiancé Arthur. I look forward to their marriage. Telegram to Peter Hawkins, Exeter, England, 3 May. Have arrived Bistritz. Stop. Leave the castle tomorrow. Stop. Thank you for assigning one so young on such important trip to impressive client. Stop. Feel confident a stated Carfax will make for a good sale and a hefty profit. End. To Mina Harker, Exeter, England, 4 May 1889. My dearest Mina, I'm waiting for the coach now, which is, of course, late, and thought I would send you one more brief note before I embark. Oh, a curious thing happened today. When I asked the landlord of the Golden Crow if he knew the Count of Dracula, both he and his wife crossed themselves and said that they knew nothing at all. Then, after breakfast, his wife asked me if, of all things, I did not know what day it was. I answered that it was the 4th of May. She shook her head and said, "It is the eve of St. George's Day. Tonight, at midnight, all the evil things of the world will have full sway. Do you not know where you are going, or who you are going to?" It was all quite ridiculous, really. When I explained to her that my duty was imperative, she took a rosary from around her neck and she offered it to me. Now, I must confess, I did not know what to do, for as a good English churchman, I have always been taught to regard such Catholic symbols as in some measure idolatrous. Yet it seemed ungracious to refuse an old lady meaning so well. Ah, here comes the coach. Your loving husband, Jonathan. 5 May. The journey to Castle Dracula. Early morning. There are many odd things to say, and I feel the need to write them all down in my travel diary, just to be sure that they truly happened. When I boarded the coach this afternoon, a crowd gathered round the Golden Crown. They all made the sign of a cross and pointed 2 fingers at me. I found this rather disturbing. The coach started, and we traveled over a green sloping land up toward the lofty steeps of the Carpathian Mountains. Up and up we went, and as it grew dark, there seemed to be some sort of excitement amongst the passengers, for they kept urging the driver to further his speed. We were entering the Borgo Pass. I was now on the lookout for the conveyance which was to bring me from the pass up to the Count. We could see the sandy road lying before us, but there was no sign of any vehicle. The driver suggested I continue on to Bukovina. Suddenly, the horses began to plunge and snort wildly, and a coach with 4 horses drove up behind us. The driver was a tall man in a great black hat which shadowed his face. I could see the gleam of a pair of very bright eyes, which seemed red in the lamplight. He said to the driver, "You are early tonight, my friend." Our driver handed out my bags with amazing alacrity, and the Count's man loaded them into the coach. He then helped me in, with a hand which caught mine, in a grip of steel. His strength must be prodigious. The coach started, and we drove at a hard pace up the road, and after some time I could hear the howl of a wolf far away. That sound was then taken up by another wolf, and then another, and another, nearer and nearer. We sped through the gloom with the howling all around us. Suddenly, the driver was pulling up the horses in the courtyard of a vast, ruined castle, whose broken battlements showed a jagged line against the moonlit sky. As soon as I stepped out, the horses started forward, and coachman and all disappeared down one of the dark openings. I stood there, in the dark, for I did not know what to do. Just as I was beginning to think I would be forced to stand there until morning, a great door swung open in front of me. Within stood a tall, old man, clean-shaven and clad in black from head to foot. He held in his hand an antique lamp. "Welcome to my house. Enter freely and of your own will, and leave some of the happiness you bring behind. I am Dracula. But come in, come in. The night air is chill, and you need to eat and rest." And with that, I stepped over the threshold. His hand then grasped mine with a strength which made me wince. He then led me down a series of great passageways, and at the end of one, he threw open a heavy door. And I rejoiced to see within a well-lit room and a table spread for supper. "I pray, be seated and sup how you please. Huh? You will forgive me if I do not join you, but I have died already. And I do not sup. I dined, I took the opportunity of observing the Count. His face was a strong, very strong aquiline. The mouth was fixed and rather cruel looking, with strangely sharp canine teeth, which sometimes protruded over his lower lips. As for the rest, the ears were pale, and at the top somewhat pointed. And strange enough to say, there were hairs at the center of his palm.
Listen to them, the children of the night. What sweet music they make. You city dwellers cannot truly enter into the heart of the hunter. Oh, but tired you must be. Your bedroom is prepared, and I need to be away until the afternoon. So, sleep well, and dream well.
As I lie here by the light of a guttering candle and write this down, I am all in a sea of wonders. 7 May. It is morning again, but I have rested and enjoyed the last 24 hours. I awoke late in the day to find a meal laid out for me. After supping, I performed my daily ablutions. Now, strangely enough, there are no mirrors in my room. I have not found or seen a servant anywhere in the castle, and was forced to get the little shaving glass from my bag. Some time later, I went about looking for something to read, and opening the door to an adjoining room, I found a sort of library with a vast number of English books and magazines. Whilst I was glancing at these, the Count entered. He asked me to tell him of London and of the house I had procured for him. Well, I described the estate at Carfax. No other houses nearby, excepting a local sanatorium, its medieval history, the solid wall round it, and the old chapel nearby. He said it all sounded satisfactory, particularly the old chapel.
We Transylvanian nobles love not to think our bones may lie amongst the common dead. Oh, how I long to walk the streets of your mighty London, to be near so many people again, to be in the midst and the whirl of the rush of humanity, to share in its life, its death, its change, and all that makes it what it is. Here I am master, but I am alone.
It was by then on towards supper, huh? Again, the Count did not eat, but said that he had dined already. We talked all through the night until, all at once, we heard the crow of a cock. The Count then leapt to his feet, and apologizing for having kept me up for so long, he quickly left me, adding that I may
Feel free to go about anywhere in the castle, except where the doors are locked. There is a reason that all things are as they are. This is Transylvania, and Transylvania is not England. Our ways are not your ways, and there shall be to you many things strange.
I went back to my own room, and writing of this day as the sun is rising. Oh, the view from my window is magnificent. A sea of green treetops, as far as the eye can see. And that is quite far indeed, for the castle rests on the edge of a terrible precipice. A stone dropped from my window would fall 1,000 feet and not touch a thing. I'm feeling a bit more at ease now, and I believe I shall continue writing in this gen. It is a sort of companion to me, and I have seen no other living soul except the Count. May, my feeling of ease is gone, and I wish I was safe out of this place or had never come at all. Let me explain the facts. I awoke toward evening, and I hung my shaving glass by the lamp. I was just beginning to shave, when suddenly I felt a hand on my shoulder. I started and turned round to see the Count bidding me good morning. This amazed me, since the reflection in the glass showed the entire room behind me. At that moment I noticed I had cut myself slightly, and I turned round to find a bit of sticking plaster. When the Count saw my face, his eyes blazed with a sort of fury, and he made a grab for my throat. His hand touched the crucifix around my neck. Ah! Take care how you cut yourself, huh? It is more dangerous than you think in this country. Ah, but this is the wretched thing that has done the mischief. A foul bubble of man's vanity. And seizing the glass, he wrenched open the heavy window with one hand and flung the mirror out over the precipice. After breakfast, I did a bit of exploring of the castle, but when I went down the great stairs to the main hallway, I found only doors. Doors everywhere, all locked and bolted. In no place save the windows of the castle wall was there an available exit. The castle is a veritable prison, and I appear to be the prisoner. Oh, bless that woman. Bless that old woman who hung the rosary around my neck, for it is a strength to me whenever I touch it. It is odd that it is a thing I once looked on in disfavor. No, in the meantime, I must keep my wits about me. I must find out all I can about this Count of Dracula. Tonight, he may talk of himself if I turn the conversation that way. However, I must be careful. Early morning of the 9th, I had a long talk with the Count. I asked him questions on Transylvanian history, and he warmed to the subject wonderfully. In his speaking of things and people, and especially of battles, he spoke as if he had been present at them all.
Is it any wonder that we are the conquering race? That we are proud? The Dracul, the order of the dragon, have a right to be proud. Within these veins flows the blood of many brave races. The Magyars, the fighting Ugriks, the great Attila himself. What devil or witch was ever so great as the blood which runs in these veins? Oh, but those warlike days are over. Blood is too precious a thing in these days of dishonorable peace, and the glories of the great races are as a tale of old.
Tonight the Count asked me if I had written my employer, Mr. Peter Hawkins, since my arrival. And I replied that I had not seen any opportunity of sending letters to anyone at all.
Then write now, my young friend. Write to him that you shall stay with me until a month from now.
Do you wish me to stay so long? If you will but sign a few papers, our business may be ended.
I desire it much. Nay, I will take no refusal. As yet I only know your tongue through books. To you, my friend, I know how to sound the words, but I desire to know more of England and of your great city of London. When your master, employer, what you will, engaged that someone should come on his behalf, it was understood that my needs only were to be followed. Is not this so?
What could I do but bow and consent? Until the deed is signed, we cannot conclude the sale. He then watched over my shoulder as I dashed off a brief letter to Mr. Hawkins, and as I was rereading it, he snatched it from my hand.
A servant will take this to town. 12th May, things have grown worse. This nocturnal existence is destroying my nerve. I was just gazing out my window, looking out at the expanse, bathed in soft yellow moonlight. As I leaned out, my eye was caught by something moving up above me. What I saw was the Count coming out his window and crawling down the castle wall over the dreadful abyss, face down, with his cloak spread out round him like great wings. What manner of man is this? Or what creature is it in the semblance of a man? I am in fear. I must confess it. Awful fear. And I have no escape from it. 15 May. Once more I have seen the Count crawl down the wall in that unearthly fashion. Somehow he seems younger in the moonlight. I quickly went down to the front door where I had originally entered. It is locked. It is locked and the key is gone. It must be in the Count's room. Oh, dear God in heaven, preserve my sanity, for to this I am reduced. In a panic, I went about trying every door I can find. If I can gain access to the Count's room and find the key, I shall leave this place immediately, whether the Carfax papers are signed or not. What is this? Wait a moment. I was now in a different wing of the castle. This was evidently the portion of the castle occupied by the women in bygone days, for the furniture had more of an air of comfort than any I had yet seen. Rich tapestries covered the walls. Brilliant moonlight shone in through curtainless windows, and I felt a quiet solitude overtake me as I wandered through the rooms. Looking at the moon, I began to feel rather sleepy, and almost against my own will, I lay down on the great sofa. I suppose I must have fallen asleep. I hope so, but I fear, for all that followed was so frighteningly real. I was not alone. In the moonlight opposite me were 3 women. 2 were dark, the other fair. All 3 had brilliant white teeth which shone like pearls against the ruby of their voluptuous lips. I felt in my heart a burning desire that they would kiss me. I lay quiet, peeking out under my eyelashes in almost delightful anticipation. The fair girl advanced to kneel beside me. Lower and lower her head went, and I could hear the churning sound of her tongue as it licked her teeth and feel her hot breath on my neck. The sensitive skin of my throat began to tingle as those lips came nearer. I could feel the soft, shivering touch of those lips on my neck and the hard dents of 2 sharp teeth. I closed my eyes in ecstasy and waited. But suddenly, there was the Count. How dare you touch him, any of you, when I have forbidden him? Back! This man belongs to me. You want him, huh? You think I have never wanted, that I have never loved? Yes, I too can love, as you yourselves can tell it from the past. I promise you, when I am done, you shall kiss him at your will. Till then, be satisfied with what I bring you. He held up a large bag. There was a gasp and a wail, as of a half-smothered child. The women closed round the bundle. They then seemed to disappear, for there was no door near them. They seemed to fade into the rays of the moonlight and pass out through the open window. The horror overcame me, and I sank down into unconsciousness. If it be that I have not dreamt, the Count must have carried me here. But as I write this down, I am deathly afraid that this was no dream, and that my room is perhaps the only sanctuary from those women of the night who are waiting. To Peter Hawkins, Exeter, England, 12 June. Mr. Hawkins, the Count is satisfied and my work here is nearly finished. I will start the journey home as of tomorrow. Jonathan Harker. To Peter Hawkins, Exeter, England, 19 June. Mr. Hawkins, I have finished my work at Castle Dracula and will be home in a few days. Jonathan Harker. To Wilhelmina Harker, Exeter, England, 29 June. Wilhelmina, I have left Castle Dracula and will be home soon. Jonathan Harker. 19 May. Oh, I am surely doomed. Last night, the Count asked me to post him 3 letters, all saying my work here was finished. He told me the mail system was faulty and it was best to send them in advance. I would have rebelled, but there was something overpowering in the look in his eyes which prevented me. All the doors leading to my chamber are locked. I feel I may now know the span of my life. 28 May. There is a chance of escape, or at any rate of being able to send word home. In the library is a barred window which overlooks a courtyard. Through it, I can see a band of gypsies have arrived this morning and are encamped in the courtyard. I have written a letter to Mina in shorthand, telling her of my plight, and thrown it down to one of the workmen, along with a piece of gold. Later, the Count brought in my letter. The gypsies have given me this, but it is not written in any letters that I know. Therefore, it can be of no matter to us.
9 June, the horror has increased to a new level. I was just gazing out my window when I saw the Count crawl out again. Slung over his shoulder was the terrible bag I had seen the 3 women take away, but it was a new shock to discover that he was wearing my clothes. I quickly went down to my closet to find my travel documents, my letter of credit, and all of my spare clothing gone. I can hear the scraping sound of the Count returning up the wall. I have just heard something like the sharp wail of a child, quickly suppressed. 23 June. After 2 weeks of solitary confinement, I awoke this morning to hear the cracking of whips, and with joy, I ran to the library window. Several great wagons are circling in the courtyard. I waved to them through the bars, but no effort of mine, no piteous cry or entreaty will make them answer me at all. They only point and laugh. The wagons contain a great quantity of square boxes, which they are even now unloading. 29 June. The end is near. I was just startled awake by the Count.
Tomorrow, my friend, we must part. I have taken the liberty of signing your deed of purchase and posting it with an amount I am sure your friend, your employer, Mr. Peter Hawkins, will find very generous. Tomorrow you shall return to your beautiful England. Why may I not go now? Because my coachman and horses are away.
I will walk with pleasure. I wish to be on my way immediately.
You Englanders, you have a saying which is dear to my heart, for its spirit is that which rules the Dracula. Welcome the coming, speed the parting guest. Come, my young friend. Not an hour shall you stay in my house against your will. Though I am sad that you're going. Come! And preceding me down the stairs, holding the lamp, we went to the great hallway, drawing back ponderous bolts. Slowly began to open. I couldn't believe he was going to set me free. No! I was to be given to the wolves, and at my own instigation. No! Shut the door! Shut the door! I shall wait until tomorrow. As you wish. Come, my young friend. In silence, we returned to the library. The last I saw of the Count was kissing his hand to me with the red light of triumph in his eyes. 30 June. Morning! I must take action whilst the courage of day is upon me. Today, the last of my post-dated letters went out. The final of that fatal series which is to blot out the very traces of my existence. And tonight, God save me from the Count's plans. I believe I am to be left either to the wolves or to those awful women. There is a way, if one dares take it. Where he has gone, why may not another? The chances are desperate, but I will attempt to crawl from my window. It is the only means left to me. God help me in my task. Goodbye, Mina, if I fail. Goodbye, all. The wall below my window melds with the precipice below, from which the drop is then at least 1,000 feet. There is no chance of making it so far, so I make for the direction of the Count's room, up above me. Hand over hand, I crawl, grasping into the cracks in the mortar, slicing my feet on the rough stone. Up and up I go, and God helping me, I am at the Count's window. A deep breath, and I pull myself inside. I light the candle I brought in my pocket. The whole room is completely empty. There is not a scrap of furniture or clothing at all. I search for the key, but I cannot find it. A trap door. Stairs leading down into the darkness. The light from my candle reveals a room full of tombs. I am in the crypt. Shadows play against walls as I walk amongst the castle dead. There is one great tomb, more lordly than all the rest. On it is written but one word: Dracula. The great stone lid of this tomb has been wrenched off and lays toppled next to it. I climb up, I gain the top, and I look inside. It is empty. On the other side of the tombs, I find the boxes delivered by the gypsy wagons. I open the first. It is filled with dirt. So is the second, and the third, and so on. I get to the last box. There are 50 in all. I lift the lid. Oh, there lays the Count, staring at me with crimson eyes. Merciful God, half his youth is restored, and from those protruding teeth are trails of blood. Oh, the entire body seems gorged and bloated with it. So this is the being who has used me to descend upon London, where perhaps it... No.
No, the very thought of it drives me mad. I flee the place, climbing, falling, corpses everywhere. I climb out the window and crawl back toward my room. Part of the ledge comes free. It falls without a sound. The forest sways below me, inviting. I force myself back into my room. My hands are bleeding now as I write this down. Later on the 30th, these may be the last words I ever write. The gypsies have gone, taking the boxes with them, in one of which I believe must be the Count. And I am alone in the castle with those 3 awful she-devils of the pit. I shall not stay here with them. I shall attempt to crawl from my window and try to find a way down the precipice. The chances are desperate. The journey to the Count's room nearly killed me, and the precipice is 1,000 feet further. But at its foot, a man may sleep as a man. God help me in my task. Goodbye, Mina. Goodbye, all. God help me. Mina! Sanatorium. From Mina Harker, Whitby. 12 August. Dear Dr. Van Helsing, I am writing to you concerning my friend, Lucy Westenra. Several nights ago, she wandered toward Whitby Abbey in her sleep, and the next morning I discovered that her throat was pierced with 2 points like pinpricks. She is very ill, and I fear these wounds may be the cause. Can you be of assistance? Sincerely, Mina Harker. From Sister Agatha, Hospital of St. Joseph, Budapest, to Wilhelmina Harker, Exeter, 25 August. Dear Madam, I am writing to you concerning Mr. Jonathan Harker, who was found nearby, suffering from a violent brain fever, and has been under our care for 6 weeks. I advise you to come immediately. Sister Agatha. From Mina Harker, Exeter, to Dr. Abraham Van Helsing, Carfax Sanatorium, 20 September. I have just returned from Budapest with my husband, Jonathan Harker, who is very ill and cannot remember anything that has happened all summer. I have read his travel journal, but I can make no sense of it. It reads like the diary of a madman. I have included it with this letter, and I hope it can be of use. Postscript. How is Lucy? I haven't had a chance to write since my return.
Telegram to Mina Harker, Exeter, England, from Dr. Abraham Van Helsing, Whitby. 22 September. Regret to inform you that your friend Lucy is dead. Stop. She was buried in Hampstead Cemetery on Sunday. Stop. Have read husband's wonderful diary. Stop. Believes the Count to be in London now. Can you come immediately? Stop. Be assured. Every word is true. End.
26 September. I thought never to write in any diary again, but the time has come. After my escape from the castle, I was found suffering from amnesia and taken to hospital in Budapest. Mina brought me back to London, where I suffered from delirium until I read the doctor's telegram. So it was all true. And the Count has succeeded in his design in getting to London, has he? And if it is he who has murdered our dear friend Lucy, I swear I shall have his heart. Van Helsing is the man to unmask him. We are even now on the train to Whitby, and then begins the hunt. It is I who have brought this dreadful game from the bush, and if it takes my dying breath, it shall be I that shall end its monstrous villainy forever. 28 September. We arrived at Whitby and received a message to meet the doctor at the Carfax Sanatorium. My God, the Carfax Sanatorium. It must be the one adjacent to the property purchased by the Count. What connection may that have, I wonder? Later, we met Van Helsing at the sanatorium, where I learned the cause of Lucy's death. She lost massive amounts of blood, despite daily transfusions from myself and Arthur, who complained of bad dreams and knockings at her window. As she grew weaker and weaker, I began to suspect a possibility so horrible I was afraid to speak of it. Also in attendance was Lucy's fiancé, Arthur Homewood. How good it is to have you with us, Jonathan, and how it pains me to meet you again under these conditions. The good doctor here has told us of your travel journal. I can only hope that your horror has been no worse than ours. As you know, Lucy and I, we were engaged to be married next month. Let me introduce you to an American friend of mine from Texas, Mr. Quincy Morris.
Mr. Harker, it is my pleasure to meet a man who has survived such a terrible ordeal. Arthur is one of my best friends, and Lucy was dear to me as well. It is my hope that if we all share our stories, we might make the great pieces of this puzzle fit into a whole. I began and told the ghastly tale of my stay at the castle. Mina went next and told of the great storm, how I found Lucy sleepwalking and of the strange marks at her throat. Quincy then explained to us all his part of the story. I came to London and I called upon Lucy to deliver my congratulations and best wishes, only to find her pale as a ghost, with hardly any blood left in her at all. I had only seen anything like it once before, in Africa. I had a horse what lost that much blood. One of them big bats they call vampires got to him in the night, and there wasn't enough blood left in him to stand up in the morning. I had to put a bullet through him where he lay. I think the good doctor here figured out eventually what was wrong with Miss Lucy, but he was too afraid to tell us what we all thought was just superstition could be responsible.
When one is infected with the brain of the vampire, they become themselves not alive or dead, but undead. Undead. The canine teeth, the teeth of the predator, grow long, like the tiger or the bull. They are cast out from the grace of God, wanderers in the outer darkness, vampire, Nosferatu. After Lucy's death, the area near her cemetery was plagued by a phantom called the White Lady that abducted children in the night. I convinced Quincy and Arthur to meet me at the cemetery at midnight.
And now, the most dreadful part of the story. I agreed to meet them that night. As the dawn approached, I could see a white streak making its way through the trees, clutching something to its breast. And I gasped as I saw that this thing, dressed in the cerements of the grave, bore the features of Lucy. She was feeding on a young child. Her lips were crimson with fresh blood. And when Lucy, and I call the thing that was before us Lucy only because it bore her shape, when she saw us, she drew back with a snarl. With a careless motion, she dashed the poor child to the ground and held her arms out to me. I don't remember it clearly, but I believe I was, in fact, moving toward her when Van Helsing held out the crucifix.
The thing recoiled with a look from unholy hell and retreated into the crypt. Together, Van Helsing then asked if we should proceed in our business, that she might rest in the bosom of God. And God be with her now. I gave him my consent. Together, we entered the crypt. Quincy helped me open the coffin. There lay the thing, smeared with fresh blood. And according to Van Helsing's instructions, I was forced to. Oh God! Shh. Friend Arthur, you did for her the only thing you could. You know this. Friend Jonathan, I tell you now, what we did to beloved Lucy, and what we must now do to another, Count Dracula. Take a stake of wood or iron and place it over the heart, and with the other hand strike with a hammer. Strike in God's name that the undead may pass away. Leave the point in the body, fill the mouth with garlic, and cut off the head with an axe or saw. Then the undead is no more. I have determined he is indeed Prince Vlad Dracula, who earned his name fighting against the Turks centuries ago, and he has carried this name with him beyond the grave. He cannot view, direct the elements, the fog, the storm, the sun. He casts no shadow, he makes no mirror reflect. The vampire can transform himself into the wolf, or the mist, or the rays of the moon, yet he is not free. He cannot enter into any house unless asked first. His power grows weaker by the day, and he cannot change shape then. He cannot cross water by himself, but he must be conveyed by others. And there are things which afflict him greatly, like the garlic, the crucifix, the stake, and the wafer of the holy host. For in one way is the vampire forever bound to God. For only in the sacred consecrated earth of its own grave can it rest. That is why his death is so important to him. We must destroy these boxes before he spreads them all over London. As the rosy fingers of dawn approached, we made a plan of action. Van Helsing has invited us all to stay at the sanatorium for safety's sake. The Count cannot enter without being invited, and none of us shall be doing anything of the kind. Mina and I will follow up on legal means and attempt to determine the whereabouts of the 50 boxes. Van Helsing has also asked me to accompany him to examine a patient here, one Mr. Renfield, who has twice escaped the sanatorium and been found at the Carfax estate. Apparently, Mr. Renfield collects bugs and spiders and eats them. Together we visited his cell, and as I watched, he commenced with the disgusting habit.
I use the sugar from my tea for the teensy flies. But they love it so. I just set it out and then life! Strong life. And it gives life to me. The blood is the life, and it flows through all creatures. The spider eats a fly, gains life. The sparrow eats the spider, gains life. Cats eat the sparrows, and you want to know what eats the cat? Huh? Can't tell that! No, no question. No question. I don't want to talk to you no more. You don't count now. The master is at hand, and he will reward me. I will gain the life I need. I will gain life! I will!
He then fell into a rage and we could get no more from him. The poor fellow. The doctor seems convinced this madman's ravings are somehow connected to our current affairs, but for the life of me, I cannot see how. I believe life here in the sanatorium would unbalance anyone. 29 September. Today I telegraphed Peter Hawkins in Exeter.
and he replied. He did receive a shipment of 50 boxes from the Count, and he delivered them to the Carfax estate on August 18th. I have told the others, the boxes are even now at the Carfax estate, and Quincy is off going over there immediately. We're going as soon as Van Helsing gets supplies. Arthur has some supplies of his own, and a silver whistle for which I cannot guess the reason. Mina wishes to go with us, but she will be safer here at the sanatorium. As we spoke, a blood-curdling scream, barely human, split the air. It's Renfield! But when the doctor and I arrived at Renfield's cell minutes later, he appeared calm and greeted us with a lucidity which I think caught even the good doctor off guard.
I beg you, I entreat you, let me out of this house at once. Send me away how you will and where you will, in a straitjacket or leg ironed to any other jail, but make it before the night. For the love of God, before the night, and far from here. I will not! I cannot resist him! I don't want to hurt her! I don't want to hurt anyone! You know not what you do, and I may not tell. Don't you understand? I am not a madman, but a sane man fighting for his very soul! Hear me! Oh, hear me! Ah!
We left him there, quite disturbed. The poor madman is obviously completely insane. And yet there is something in the raw urgency of his appeals that fills me with an awful foreboding. I fear our time may be running out. Later, 5 a.m. Van Helsing has equipped each of us with a crucifix. Quincy has equipped us all with revolvers, just in case the doctor's crucifixes don't work. Quincy has an American Bowie knife, I have my Gaka, and Arthur has outfitted us all with electric lamps. We walk across the field with the pale moon shining through the clouds above us. We climb through a break in the wall and approach the house. Van Helsing proves deft with a set of skeleton keys. The rusty hinges creak and the door slowly opens. The whole of Carfax is thick with dust, and in the corners are masses of spiderweb so heavy with dust they look like old tattered rags. I lead the way, for I have seen drawings of the place before and have an idea where the chapel may be. I find it, and with a little trouble, the door opens. We find the boxes inside. 29. There are only 29 left. Ah! I hear a shuffling sound to my right, and then another to my left. The floor is beginning to move. The whole place is coming alive with rats. Oh my God! An army of rodents crawls through holes, over benches and towards us, with their red eyes shining in the lamplight. But then Arthur blows his silver whistle, and in a moment 5 terriers come bursting in. And in a moment the rodents are all but gone, and the dogs are barking merrily. This gave us all a bit of a thrill, and I wanted to cheer, for it represents the first time we have had an opportunity to cry check in this deadly game of chess with the undead. I wanted to destroy the boxes immediately, but Van Helsing counseled against it, until we had determined the whereabouts of the others. We returned across the field, which was knee-deep in a strange mist that seemed to flow directly from the sanatorium to the estate. As we neared the sanatorium, I could hear Renfield chanting and screaming in his cell. Oh, he has been given a sedative, and thank God all is quiet now. Ah, as I am writing, Mina sleeps beside me, but she is much paler than usual, and I'm very glad that she was safe here from our frightful adventure at Carfax. 2 October. A stroke of luck. It appears that when Renfield last escaped the sanatorium to the Carfax estate, he attacked a pair of movers there. To my delight, they filled out a complaint. And this morning, I found one who remembered the address of his deliveries. 12 of the Count's boxes went to Chicksand Street in Newtown, and 9 of the Count's boxes went to a house in Piccadilly. I left for Piccadilly immediately and was soon at the realtor's, where I learned that the house was sold to a young man with a strange foreign accent, one Mr. Deville, who paid in cash. He is obviously trying to spread his boxes in safe houses all over London. I am again preparing for bed. Oh, Mina is already sleeping soundly, but she is still much too pale for me, and I would fear for her. But I know the Count cannot enter without being invited. Oh, Renfield is chanting and screaming downstairs, and I should think I could never sleep through it. But I am so dreadfully tired. My eyes keep drooping almost against their own will. Oh, I feel as though I've taken a sedative. 3 October! I awake in the middle of the night to find that thing in our room with Mina's face clutched to his breast. Oh, a trickle of blood is running from his chest. He's forcing her to drink it. Oh, Quincy and Van Helsing break down the door, brandishing crucifixes, and the Count snarls at them, baring his long knife-like teeth.
You fools! You think to challenge me? You think you can frighten me with your toys? I am born of the dragon! I have ruled for 500 years, and I have conquered armies your fathers' fathers have forgot. I bring this woman a gift you cannot possibly comprehend. Immortality, the cup of life eternal, blood of my blood, the strength have I got, and you would stop me? You would destroy what you do not understand.
A black cloud sails across the sky, and the Count is gone. A mist pours under the door and down the hall. We follow it, and to our horror it runs into Renfield's room and out the window. Oh, the poor madman! He's lying on the ground, his back broken in 2. Oh, the Count must have forced Renfield to invite him in! How stupid I have been! I returned quickly to Mina. Oh, her face is ghastly, and from her neck runs a trail of crimson. She lives, but she is so very weak. Oh! And when Van Helsing touched her forehead with the mark of the host to cleanse her of the Count's touch, it seared it, burning into her flesh like white hot metal. "8 a.m. Van Helsing has told us that unless we can destroy the vampire Count, Mina is doomed to become like him. We have the day, and in it rests our only hope. We will attempt to destroy all of the boxes but one. The Count must then rest, and hopefully we will destroy him as well. We are going now to the Carfax estate to search and place a wafer of the host into each of the boxes there. 2 orderlies with guns and crucifixes guard Mina. I can only hope that she is safe. 11 a.m. The chapel is cleansed. We have searched the estate but can find no other evidence of the Count. Now it is off to Piccadilly. 2:30. We are now in the house in Piccadilly. No sign of the Count. But we found keys to the safe house in Newtown. Quincy and Arthur have left to destroy the boxes there. The doctor and I have searched everywhere for the boxes here, but we cannot find them. Wait a moment. Here are the boxes. We have placed wafers of the host into 8 of the boxes here, destroying them, but we cannot find the 9th. We are waiting now in Piccadilly for our friends or the Count. We know not who may be first. Later, 3 o'clock. I am poised with weapons in both hands, spiritual in the left,
mortal in the right. It is Quincy and Arthur. They have had good luck, and all 12 boxes have been destroyed. There is only one box now, and we know not where it may be. The minutes pass by slowly. No sign. He must come. Please, God, let it be during the day and not at night. Suddenly, a key in the door. The Count leaps through. I slice with my knife, but cut only the cloth of his coat. Banknotes in gold falling everywhere. Quincy throws his great Bowie knife, but again a dodge, and it sticks in the wall. Van Helsing throws a crucible of holy water, but the Count rolls across the room and crashes through the open window.
You think to challenge me, to leave me with no place to rest, but I have more. Already your women that you love are mine. They will come across land or sea when I call, and soon you too will become my creatures when I want to feed.
In a flash, he has gone round the corner. We follow him through the streets in Piccadilly. There he goes! Down there, down toward the tower! We follow him through the streets of London, in and out of alleyways, over fences. He is blocked by the Thames and doubles back. But we lose him! We lose him in the crowd at Trafalgar Square. We are now returning to the sanatorium. October. Mina is brilliant. Even with the blood of the Count mixing in her veins, she works to foil him. She knows she is linked to this vampire now, and just before the dawn, she had an idea that Van Helsing might hypnotize her, and so learn of the Count's whereabouts. I can see nothing. Nothing at all. I am enclosed. Dirt all around me. I am in the box. Wait a moment. I can hear the creaking of a chain, and men shouting, and the lapping of water. We have him on the run. He is trying to escape by ship. 5 October. We found the listing of a ship, the Tsarina Catherine, which took on cargo of a large box bound for Varna, Russia. He's obviously heading back the way he came, but he has made a fatal mistake. We all can travel overland to Varna in 2 weeks, or 10 days, but it will take the Count's ship 2 weeks. 24 October. Varna. A whole week of waiting. No sign of the Count. He should have arrived 10 days ago. Mina grows paler, ashen, and sometimes at night there is a look in her. I have decided that if she should turn, I shall join her in darkness. I cannot imagine life without her. 28 October. Today we received a telegram that the ship was spotted in Galatz at 1 o'clock today. Somehow he must have known we were waiting and bypassed us. He is obviously heading back to his castle, but how? By train or by wagon? 31 October. Again, Mina has been placed under the doctor's hypnosis. I am still enclosed, inside the box. More water, but it is different. It is not like the tide, but lapping gently, gurgling like a river. He must be going up the Sereth River. It goes near the Borgo Pass. We have decided to split up and follow the Count to the Borgo Pass. Arthur and I will travel by steamship. Quincy feels he may travel faster by horse. Meanwhile, Van Helsing will journey to Bistritz, head to the castle, and cleanse the Count's tomb there. The doctor is asked to take Mina with him. I do not like the idea of leaving her. It may be the last time that I see her as
human. So the doctor can protect her in ways that I cannot. Before we part, Quincy asks me for a moment alone. Mr. Harker, I know that you don't know me well, but I just wanted to say that you should not give up hope. I lost Lucy, and I am determined that you will not lose Mina. I pledge you my gun, my knife, and my life as well. Look for me at the Borgo Pass. Until we meet again, good hunting. 4 November. We have been traveling upriver for 3 days now. I've searched at least 20 ships with no sign of the Count. But today, we received word of a large box delivered to a gypsy wagon in the next town. We shall buy horses in the morning. We're following them on land. 5 November. Riding along the southern edge of the river, I can see a band of gypsies approaching with the wagon. Later, 2 o'clock. I can see the box on the gypsy wagon now, and the rider approaching from the north. It must be Quincy. Behind, I can hear the howling approaching. Wolves! Riding the horses at breakneck speed, we are close to the gypsies. Quincy approaches from the other side. There are wolves all around us. We round a bend in the mountain road and are plunged in shadow. The gypsies fire at us. Quincy answers with his Winchester. Arthur looks off the wolf pack behind us. There is the castle. The red rays of the setting sun bathe in scarlet. In front of us, a carriage blocks the gypsies' way. My God, it's Van Helsing and Mina. The gypsy wagon is stopping. I hear the crack of a pistol. Van Helsing is giving us cover. I must get to the gypsy wagon before the sun is gone. I am so close. I leap and am on it. My knife is out and I am slashing at the ropes around the box. Quincy rides up behind me and leaps onto the wagon. Hurry, John, hurry! We've got to get the lid off. I can see the last rays of the sun. No! Don't stop, John. Keep going. The nails. Pry up the nails. And one hand holding his bloody chest, Quincy helps me. The nails come up slowly. The lid is off. The sun is gone. I raise my knife, but an iron fist shoots out, grabbing me by the throat, choking me. Mina! I failed you! But suddenly there is Quincy! For Lucy! He plunges deep into the vampire's chest. I raise my knife and slash down at his throat. A miracle. A miracle. Before our very eyes, and almost in the drawing of a breath, his whole body crumbled into dust and passed from our sight. And in that final moment of dissolution, I believe I saw a look of peace steal over the Count's face, such as I never thought could have rested there. The gypsies, as if released from a spell, turned and rode away, the wolves following in their wake. Quincy sinks to the ground, and there is Van Helsing tending his wounds. No, doctor, no. It's no use. I know a death wound when I see one. No. Oh, look, John. Look. The mark of the host on Mina's forehead. It's gone. You see, John, there is always hope. And to our bitter grief, with a smile and silence, our friend Quincy passed away. A gallant gentleman. Hearing an awful tearing sound, we all looked up to see the castle list drunkenly to one side, and then tumble from the precipice. Naught remained but a pile of stones shining in the moonlight. "7 years ago, we all went through the flames. But the happiness of some of us since then is, we believe, worth the pain we endured. It is an added joy to Mina and to me that our son's birthday is the same as that on which Quincy Morris died. His mother holds the secret belief that some of our brave friends' spirits passed into the boy. We named him Quincy. As I present these papers and journal to you, I am struck by the fact that in all the massive material of which this record is comprised, there is hardly one authenticated document, only a massive typewriter, some telegrams and a scribbled journal. We could hardly ask anyone, even if we did wish to accept these as proofs of so wild a story. But since you have taken an interest, I will give them to you. Make of them what you can, though I seriously doubt that anyone will believe you. Your loving, humble servant, Jonathan Harker."
Get your questions get your questions and comments, and let me introduce you to Zack Andrews, who
Hello.
is Zack is returning to our stage, where he when he was here before, it was for The Outsiders, which was he was not a he was kind of a bad guy in that one. So he was one of the mean gang members. But anyway, Zack is a guest actor from Denver, but also graduated from our program, our MFA program at UMKC, where I first met you as a student.
True enough.
So and let me also real quick introduce Tanya Brown. She's behind the glass back there. You can sort of see her in the dark. Tanya runs all of the light and the sound cues and is our production manager on this show. Questions from you guys? Anybody want to throw anything out to us or to Zack in particular? Go ahead, Jen.
Obviously, bravo, an extraordinary performance. I guess I'm captivated by the staging and how it all came about, because it seems like obviously the set design is an integral part of your conception as a director, as well as your extraordinary performance as an actor. So I'm just curious how the process in rehearsals and conceptualization of the whole thing came together.
Sure.
I think it all came about. We had a 3-day boot camp of this show back in June to cut the script and just sort of get it exactly how we wanted, and to have a bunch of production meetings to figure out what kind of show this is going to be. And at one point, an early idea was Dracula might swing in on a low-flying trapeze. And then it was, maybe we could put a ladder across the top of the space, hanging from the ceiling, that he could use, or that I could use to get from like one spot to another. We knew we wanted walkable railings, and we wanted playing spaces that were sort of out and about. And then the more we talked about it, the more excited we got by the ladder. And then our set designer came back with, Jordan Janota designed the set. He came back with these crazy akimbo monkey bars that were 9 feet off the ground and 20 feet long. And we were like, yes, we don't know what we're going to do with them, but that's awesome.
That's exactly right. Great question. And it was, I would just piggyback onto that just simply to say the set designer was smart enough, wise enough to let the actor in. So Zack did some smart things, like he said when we showed him the designs and the prints of the designs, he would say remove a couple of bars here and there, so I could plan on getting in.
Yeah.
Still didn't know how I was going to do it, but I did know, like, yeah, I want something shoulder width, just to give me the best chance of getting on top of the thing. So it was fun to sort of, to get this thing that was loaded with potential and then just see physically what I could do and creatively what Jeff and I could come up with.
We also knew that we didn't want to do the one-person show where you cross over here, talk, cross over here, talk. You know what I mean? Where you spend the whole show, you know, just doing basically a park and talk. So we wanted to do something, and basically he was also game for that. I mean, I think you said, you know, I really like to make sure it's physical. And
Yeah.
so we were like, oh yeah, that was a little dream. Good. Anybody else have something to ask?
I was curious, how long does it take and how difficult is it to memorize all that?
It took a couple months. I did a lot of killing two birds with one stone because I knew I needed to be in really good shape. So I would go on long runs and listen to I recorded the lines and would just, today I'm going to listen to September 28th and run for like 5 miles. And I read the book, and I also listened to the book, the audio book, just to hear other actors and how they were chewing up this language, because 95% of the script is directly from the novel. It is like the truest adaptation. So getting it memorized, the accents were the easy part. Like Van Helsing, once I kind of, the sound of the German, once I got that in my brain, it just stuck. Jonathan is the one who talks an awful lot and repeats himself an awful lot, so he was tough. But I just drilled away for months, chipped away.
We had a little workshop in June. Then Zack went away for some months, and then we did all of this because he came into the first rehearsal with it memorized here in September. We did all of this in 2 weeks. So it was 2 weeks from the time we met to actually stage the first day.
Yep. Yeah, September 22nd was first rehearsal. We opened on October 11th, so it was like, I needed to be memorized. Otherwise, it would have been a show where I had to go stand over there and read from the script until I had it memorized.
Until then, do another stunt.
As it was, I could climb. I could just climb and natter on.
Yes, right here.
Do you like to climb?
I do. That's a great question, because I've done a show in a pool. The last show I did was in a pool, a 2.5 foot deep, pool. And it was like, one of these days you're gonna come in and just be like, I don't want to get in a pool today. And that sure happened. But today, like, there's something it's such a formidable challenge. Like, I just get so geared up for it. It's like, it's like the big game, it's just me. So I haven't once had a day where I didn't come in and look forward to rehearsing challenging, like Tekken running the show. We had like an 11-hour rehearsal to figure out how to light this thing, and I was hanging from those monkey bars for like 11 hours. And I was still like, love it. I love it.
We had to worry about his hands getting too chewed up from
They're pretty
rehearsing
gross.
too many hours.
Under these gloves, like anvils under there, man. It's bad news.
Yes.
So Zach, would you say this has been your most demanding role to date?
I think so. I sure can. I mean, I've had some challenges. Like I understudied Romeo, Mercutio, and Tybalt all at once in Romeo and Juliet one time, which is like half the script. But this is harder because nobody else is going to drop a line. It's me.
You really were fantastic.
Thank you.
I gotta mention this. While Zack was here in June, he auditioned for the Kansas City Rep, and he got the role of Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet. So that will be next on.
And the other thing I did last week, our second run through ever, I was like, let's wear a heart rate monitor just because I want to see what happens to me nutritionally. Like this, I got to think of this as an athletic event.
Yeah.
So I burned 908 calories in one show, and my heart rate peaks at 189.
Whoa.
So,
Yeah.
you know. it's a
At what
training
part in the
program.
show did your heart
Yeah.
rate peak?
I think it's the last, going into intermission, or the intermission with a radio broadcast where I'm hanging from one hand for a minute.
Uh-huh.
I think that whole sequence is pretty unrelenting because I never stop. Even once I'm in the count's room, I go to the crypt and back around here and then over there again. It's quite the circuit.
I see a hand raised over there, second row.
Hello.
I just wonder how you get all the lights on and how do you turn them on?
Yeah. How do we do all that? They're computerized, the lighting, and actually what Tanya is doing, they're computerized to the point where we hit a button and everything's been programmed, and so what takes a really long time is programming it in rehearsal so the lights flow effortlessly. We also can do that with sound now, when Tanya's hitting a button, but the person who designed the sound layered so many sound cues on top of each other that we're firing, like in that sequence at the end with the music, and then the gypsies are firing guns, and then Quincy fires back, and then there's a lot, like 5 or 6 or 7 cues that are getting fired at once, and they all time out and end at different times. So luckily, technology is the lights are we have some kind of pretty old equipment, but the lighting in the booth, the control panel and the soundboard have to be really current.
As for how the lights got up there, there's a guy named Art Kent who designed everything. And he has an A-frame ladder, just a normal thing, that he can use. He can scramble up. He's like 3 steps up it before he actually extends it out. And like, it's just amazing. Like, when you need to move a light, to me that would be just, I gotta get the ladder, and I gotta do this.
He also liked having this rig because he didn't have to, he could just climb up there with Zack.
And he is like precision focused. I mean, think about the fact there are really no lights running above this thing. They're deep in the ceiling and all they can do is point down. So the few things there are, he's like laser focused. It's a combination of me finding the right place to put my face and his like perfectly aimed lights that just make it, it's pretty remarkable. Because this is tricky.
Last question or so. Oh, yes. Oh, who is your favorite character?
Quincy. The Texan.
It surprises people when you suddenly break into it.
I know. It's just so funny. He's got the laugh lines too, and I love getting laughs. There's not a lot of them in this show, but the ones I get are good old Quincy, who I discovered. If you've seen Toy Story, he's sort of based on Woody from Toy Story.
Also, you found a little article that Bram Stoker, the author, met Buffalo Bill in Buffalo Bill's tour of England, and that's how he thought, oh, I'm going to write you into this novel I'm writing.
Bram Stoker was so impressed by Buffalo Bill and that brand of American heroism that he wrote him into the novel and made him the guy that finally kills Dracula. And says things like, if there are more Americans like that, then that will be a formidable country indeed.
Well, you guys have been a truly wonderful audience, and thank you for being with us. And we're a 501c3 not-for-profit organization, happily ensconced in Crown Center here for some 35 years. But we really aim to keep the school ticket prices low. That's a big part of our mission. I mean, ridiculously low, $5.50 a ticket. So during the school day. So please, if you consider us in your gift giving, we would appreciate it. Thank you. See you again.